Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Health and Wellness podcast. I'm your host, Sarah. It is truly a pleasure to have you join us today for a topic that hits very close to home for many of us. We are discussing something we do every single day, yet it holds secrets about our health that very few people actually realize.
It's great to be here, Sarah. This is a topic I'm very passionate about.
Today, we are joined by Dr. Thomas, a specialist with years of experience in geriatric health. Doctor, we are talking about breakfast. It's often called the start of a new day, but I've heard you say that for some, it can be the start of dangerous illnesses. Is that true?
Unfortunately, it is, Sarah. I've spent years observing patients, especially those over the age of 65. It worries me deeply when I see so many seniors maintaining eating habits that are actually harmful, habits they've kept for decades. They often think, as long as I eat until I'm full, that's good enough. But in reality, they are silently shortening their own lifespan. They are consuming meals full of triggers for strokes, diabetes, and fatty liver disease without even knowing it.
That is a scary thought, doctor. To think that a simple meal could be doing so much damage. You mentioned that you've witnessed elderly patients collapsing right in their bedrooms because of these harmless habits.
I have, Sarah. I've seen many cases where elderly patients fall ill or suffer sudden health events simply because of what they put on their breakfast plate. In today's discussion, I want to highlight 5 specific breakfast foods that are very popular but are extremely toxic for the elderly.
I think our listeners are very eager to hear this list. Let's jump right into the first one. What is the number one dish suitable for a warning today?
The first one might surprise many because it's a comfort food for so many people. It's organ porridge, or congee, cooked with internal organs like intestines, liver, and stomach.
Oh, really? Porridge is usually seen as so soft, easy to swallow, and comforting. Why is it dangerous?
You're right about the texture, Sarah. It is soft and smells delicious, but that softness is a trap. Porridge made from internal organs contains an astronomically high level of cholesterol. It silently wears down the liver and kidneys. It hardens the blood vessels. For an older person whose digestive and metabolic systems are already slowing down, this is a heavy burden.
So it's about the hidden content, not just the texture.
Exactly. Consuming that much saturated fat and purines from animal organs is a nightmare for the body. It raises uric acid levels immediately. I agree that for young people, their systems might handle it, but for someone over 65, it's different.
I can imagine. Is it true that this could trigger gout?
Absolutely. Not just gout, Sarah. It drives up blood pressure immediately after eating. I recall a specific case from last winter. A gentleman in his 70s was admitted to the hospital in critical condition. His blood pressure had skyrocketed and he fainted. His family was in a panic, wiping sweat from their foreheads, telling me, "He only had a bowl of organ porridge. We don't understand why he collapsed."
Just one bowl caused that? That is terrifying. Did the medical results confirm it was the food?
Yes. His test results showed his blood lipids and uric acid were through the roof. His liver enzymes were elevated and his blood pressure was completely uncontrolled. This wasn't the first time I've seen an elderly person collapse right after a delicious breakfast like that.
It sounds like a silent killer right in the kitchen.
It really is. A bowl of organ porridge is essentially a collection of bad cholesterol, bad fats, and toxins from the liver and intestines of the animal. As we age, our blood vessels become stiffer, our liver gets weaker, and our kidneys don't filter as fast. When you pour that amount of fat and acid into the system, every drop of fat becomes like a sharp nail driving into the liver, the heart, and the joints.
That's a very vivid and frightening image, doctor. Nails driving into the heart. It really puts things into perspective.
It's the truth, Sarah. Frequent consumption doesn't just make fatty liver worse, it triggers acute gout attacks, causing severe joint pain, and dramatically increases the risk of a sudden stroke.
Wow, and yet so many people think it's nutritious because it's rich and hearty.
Correct. And we haven't even talked about the condiments yet. People often eat this with salty fish sauce, chili, and garlic. That extra sodium pushes blood pressure up even further right after the meal. It's a recipe for disaster.
So, the first takeaway for our listeners today, avoid organ porridge. It's just not worth the risk.
Precisely. We want to live long, but we also want to live well. Don't trade years of your life for a few minutes of a tasty meal.
Moving on to the next item on our list, Doctor. We've covered organ porridge. What is the second breakfast dish that we need to be wary of?
This next one is practically a national symbol, and it pains me to say it, but for the elderly, we have to be careful with beef noodle soup, specifically the kind served with rare beef, or for a Thai, and accompanied by lots of salty broth and pickled garnishes.
Oh, wow. Pho is such a staple. It's widely considered a healthy dish because it has broth and meat. Why is it on the danger list for seniors?
It comes down to the hidden ingredient, Sarah. The problem here is sodium, salt. A bowl of beef noodle soup is often a sodium bomb. To make that broth taste rich and savory, cooks often use a lot of salt, MSG, and fish sauce.
I see. And I know many older people love to drink every last drop of that broth because they think that's where the essence of the bone marrow is.
That is exactly the misconception. A single bowl of restaurant-style pho can contain up to 1,600 milligrams of sodium. To put that in perspective, a person over 65 should ideally limit their intake to about 1,500 milligrams for the entire day. So in one meal, you've exceeded your daily limit.
That puts a huge strain on the kidneys, doesn't it?
Huge strain. It forces the kidneys and liver to work overtime to process that massive load of salt and chemicals. This leads to water retention, swollen legs, and chronic fatigue. And let's not forget the rare beef.
Right, the rare part. Many people think rare beef is sweeter and more tender.
It might be tender, but it's high in saturated fats. If you add extra fatty brisket or oil for flavor, you are spiking your bad cholesterol instantly. Over time, this forms plaque in the arteries. I once treated a patient, Mr. Den, who was 68. He loved pho. He had to have a bowl every morning with extra fatty broth.
Every morning? That sounds like a habit hard to break. What happened to him?
After 1 year of this routine, he collapsed in his kitchen. His blood pressure spiked uncontrollably, and he had a massive nosebleed. It was a clear sign of his blood vessels being overloaded. It was a stroke warning waiting to happen.
That is tragic. And I suppose the side dishes, like pickled garlic and onions, don't help either.
No, they don't. While garlic is generally good, pickling it adds even more acid and salt. For an elderly stomach that is already thin and sensitive, this combination causes reflux, heartburn, and inflammation. It turns a comforting meal into a digestive nightmare.
So it's about moderation and perhaps skipping the broth if you do eat it?
Yes, if you must have it, don't drink the broth and order lean meat fully cooked. But honestly, as a daily habit, it's a no-go.
Understood. Now, let's talk about the third item. I see a lot of people grabbing quick breakfasts like sticky rice or those steamed buns. Are those safe?
This is the third category: sticky rice, steamed rice rolls, and white bread, especially when paired with processed meats like sausages or pâté. These are what I call the triple threat for blood sugar.
Because they are high in starch?
Extremely high. Sticky rice, or glutinous rice, has a very high glycemic index. It's dense energy. When an elderly person eats sticky rice, it converts the sugar in the blood very rapidly.
And since older people usually have slower metabolisms, that sugar just sits there, right?
Exactly. It causes a massive insulin spike. You'll notice that after eating a big portion of sticky rice, many elderly people feel incredibly sleepy and heavy. They think it's just a food coma, but it's actually their body struggling to manage the blood sugar surge.
And I've heard about the combination with processed meats, like a sticky rice ball wrapped around a sausage.
That makes it worse. The processed meat adds nitrates and bad fats, but the base issue is the refined carb. I treated a patient named Mrs. Hung, 64 years old. She ate sticky rice or bread rolls every morning because they were cheap and convenient.
And convenient is a big factor for seniors. They don't want to cook.
True. But Mrs. Hung started urinating frequently at night, feeling exhausted, and her legs were swelling. She finally went for a checkup, and guess what?
She was in the early stages of diabetes, and her kidney function markers, creatinine, were alarming.
Just from breakfast?
It was the main driver. That daily spike in sugar and the salt from the processed meat toppings were destroying her kidneys. She was shocked. She asked me, I didn't eat much sweets. Why did I get diabetes? She didn't realize the sticky rice was essentially a bowl of sugar to her body.
That is a very important distinction. People think sugar means candy, but refined starch is just as dangerous.
Correct. It creates a roller coaster for your blood vessels. Eventually, the vessels get damaged, leading to heart risks. So, sticky rice and processed buns are the third group to avoid.
We are working our way through a very eye-opening list today with Dr. Thomas. We've covered organ porridge, salty noodle soups, and sticky rice. Doctor, what is number 4?
Number 4 is something many frugal families do, but it's quite harmful for the elderly. It is fried rice, specifically fried rice made from cold, leftover rice.
Ah, yes, the waste not, want not mentality, using last night's rice to make breakfast. It's very common.
It is, and while I admire the intention to not waste food, biologically it's a problem. When rice is left cold overnight and then fried in oil at high temperatures, two things happen. First, the rice grains become hard and dry.
Right, it gets chewy.
For a young person, that's fine, but for a person over 65, their teeth are weaker, their chewing force is less, and most importantly, their stomach acid is not as strong as it used to be. That hard, oily rice is incredibly difficult to digest.
So it sits in the stomach longer?
Yes, it causes bloating, indigestion, and a feeling of heaviness that can last all day. But there's a darker side to this, Sarah. We need to talk about chemical changes.
Chemical changes? You mean in the food itself?
Yes, there's a compound called acrylamide. The World Health Organization has flagged this as a potential carcinogen. It can form when starchy foods like rice are cooked at very high temperatures, like frying, especially if the oil is reused or if the rice gets slightly burnt.
That is frightening. So, by trying to save a few cents on leftover rice, we might be introducing toxins into the body.
Exactly. And often, people use old cooking oil, oil that has been used to fry fish or meat the night before to fry the rice for flavor. This is a disaster. That oil contains trans fats and oxidized compounds. It accelerates aging and damages the liver cells immediately.
It sounds like a double blow, hard to digest and full of toxins.
Plus, fried rice usually lacks fiber. It's just carbs and fat. It leads to constipation, which is already a common issue for seniors. So number 4, avoid fried leftover rice.
Okay, noted. No fried rice. Now, let's move to the final one, number 5. I have a feeling this is another sweet one.
It is. Number 5 is bread dipped in condensed milk.
Oh, I know so many people who love this. It's quick, it requires no cooking, and it's sweet and creamy.
It's delicious, I admit, but for an elderly body, it is like pouring pure syrup into a delicate engine. Condensed milk is extremely high in sugar. When you dip white bread, which is refined starch, into condensed milk, you are creating a massive glycemic spike.
We talked about the pancreas earlier. I assume this hits the pancreas hard.
It hits it like a hammer, Sarah. The pancreas of a 70-year-old is not the same as a 20-year-old's. It's tired. When you flood it with that much sugar and starch first thing in the morning, it struggles to produce enough insulin.
And that leads to...
Insulin resistance and eventually type 2 diabetes. I once had a patient, Mrs. Snow, who was 66. She only ate half a loaf of bread with condensed milk every morning. She thought, I'm eating so little, how can I be sick?
That's the trap, isn't it? Portion size versus nutrient density.
Exactly. When she came for her routine checkup, she was pre-diabetic, had grade 1 fatty liver, and her blood lipids were high. She was shocked. She felt betrayed by her own light breakfast.
It's heartbreaking when people think they're being modest with their eating, but the food itself is the enemy.
It creates a vicious cycle. The sugar spike gives you energy for 30 minutes, then you crash. You feel tired, shaky, and hungry again. This leads to snacking, and the cycle continues.
And I assume this also affects heart health.
Definitely. High sugar intake is linked to chronic inflammation in the blood vessels. It's not just about weight, it's about the health of your arteries.
So, to recap, the 5 dangers: organ porridge, salty pho, sticky rice, fried leftover rice, and bread with condensed milk.
Correct. If you are currently eating these, I implore you to stop. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about choosing to live without pain, without dizziness, and without spending your retirement in a hospital bed.
That is a powerful message. But, doctor, we can't just tell people what not to eat. We need to tell them what to eat. You mentioned a golden menu.
Yes, let's pivot to the positive side. There are wonderful, delicious alternatives that heal the body.
Doctor, after hearing about all the dangers, I bet our listeners are thinking, okay, so what can I eat? You mentioned some golden breakfasts. Let's start with the first recommendation.
The first one is a favorite of mine. Oatmeal cooked with nut milk, perhaps with a banana.
Oatmeal. Some people find it bland, but you swear by it.
I do. Think of oatmeal as a gentle broom for your arteries. It contains beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that actively lowers bad cholesterol.
A broom for the arteries. I love that image.
It's soft, easy to digest, and when you cook it with nut milk, like almond or soy milk, you add healthy fats without the cholesterol. Adding a banana gives you potassium, which protects the heart. It's the perfect package for a senior citizen.
That sounds lovely. What about for those who prefer savory food or something more traditional?
Then we have the Three Treasures combo. This is very simple and inexpensive. 1 boiled sweet potato, 1 boiled egg, and a serving of boiled vegetables.
That sounds very basic. Why is it called 3 treasures?
Because it covers every base. The sweet potato provides high-quality fiber and complex carbs that digest slowly, no sugar spikes. The egg provides perfect protein and choline for the brain. The vegetables provide vitamins. And the colors are beautiful too. You have the orange potato, the white and yellow egg, the green veggies.
Visual appetite is important. When you eat this combo, you feel full for a long time, but your stomach feels light. It doesn't cause gas or bloating. It's a complete nutritional profile on one plate. Fantastic. Now, what about someone who has trouble sleeping? I remember you mentioned a specific porridge that isn't made of organs.
Yes, that would be red pumpkin porridge with lotus seeds. This is medicine in a bowl.
Pumpkin and lotus seeds. That sounds very soothing.
It is. Pumpkin is gentle on the stomach and rich in vitamin A for the eyes. Lotus seeds have been used in traditional medicine for centuries to calm the nerves and promote sleep.
So, eating this in the morning helps you sleep better at night?
It helps regulate your nervous system throughout the day. If you wake up feeling groggy or if your joints ache, a warm bowl of pumpkin porridge is incredibly restorative. It's naturally sweet, so you don't need to add sugar.
And for the seafood lovers, is fish safe for breakfast?
Fish is excellent, specifically steamed fish with vermicelli or rice noodles, not fried fish, but steamed.
Why steamed?
To preserve the omega-3 fatty acids, these are vital for reducing inflammation in the joints and protecting the heart rhythm. Steamed fish is soft, easy to chew, and digests very quickly compared to beef or pork.
So, instead of that heavy bowl of beef pho, a light bowl of fish noodle soup would be better.
Much better. Just keep the broth light, use herbs for flavor instead of salt, and you have a heart-healthy meal.
Those are 4 amazing options: oatmeal, the sweet potato combo, pumpkin porridge, and steamed fish.
And the key with all of them is preparation. Cook them until soft, eat slowly, and enjoy the flavors.
Before we wrap up, doctor, we have to talk about habits. Even if we eat the right food, can we ruin it with bad habits afterwards?
Absolutely. I see this all the time. People eat a healthy bowl of oatmeal, and then they do something immediately after that undoes all the good work.
Like what? What is the most common mistake?
The most common one is drinking strong tea or coffee immediately after eating.
Oh, guilty as charged. Many people need that caffeine kick.
I know, but here's the science. Tea contains tannins. If you drink it right after a meal, the tannins bind to the iron and calcium in your food, preventing your body from absorbing them. You're essentially starving your bones and blood of nutrients.
So we are eating healthy food, but blocking the benefits?
Exactly. Wait at least 45 minutes to an hour before having your tea.
That's a good rule of thumb. What about sleeping? I know the food coma makes people want to nap right away.
That is deadly for the elderly. Lying down immediately after eating causes gastric reflux. The acid flows back up into the esophagus. Worse, it increases the risk of stroke because blood flow is concentrated in the stomach, leaving the brain with less oxygen supply. If you lie flat, you disrupt your circulation.
That is terrifying. So stay upright.
Yes, sit or walk very gently. Do not lie down.
What about medication? Many prescriptions say take with food.
Take with food usually means during the meal or right after, but you must be careful. Some drugs interact with hot foods or specific nutrients. And never take medication with tea or milk, only water.
And exercise. Some people think, I just ate, let me burn it off immediately.
A huge mistake. Vigorous exercise right after eating pulls blood away from the stomach to the muscles. This causes cramping, indigestion, and can even cause gastric drooping, gastropepsis.
So no running or heavy lifting, just gentle movement.
And the last habit,
And the last habit?
not drinking water. Many people forget to drink water after breakfast. Your blood needs fluid to transport those nutrients. If you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, increasing the risk of clots.
Doctor, we have covered so much ground today, from the dangerous foods like organ porridge and sticky rice to the healing foods like sweet potatoes and fish, and finally the bad habits to avoid. It really feels like a comprehensive guide for longevity.
It is, Sarah. And I want to leave our listeners with one final piece of advice: a morning ritual for true health.
I love rituals. What should this morning routine look like?
It starts before you even eat breakfast. When you first wake up, don't jump out of bed. Lie there for a moment. Massage your hands and feet
Massage? Why?
to wake up the nerve endings and get the blood flowing to the extremities. It prevents dizziness when you stand up. Then drink a glass of warm water. This flushes the toxins accumulated overnight and wakes up the digestive tract.
That sounds so peaceful.
It is. Then have your healthy breakfast, maybe that oatmeal or the sweet potato combo. Eat slowly, chew thoroughly. Digestion starts in the mouth.
And after eating?
Sit for a while. Talk to your family. Maybe read a few pages of a book or write in a journal. Keep your mind active but your body relaxed. Then, after 30 minutes, take a gentle walk. Just 10 or 15 minutes.
That sounds manageable for anyone.
It is. This routine does more than just feed your body. It feeds your mind. It reduces stress. A calm mind leads to a healthy heart.
You mentioned earlier that some patients felt lucky if they could still do 3 things after age 65. What were those?
Ah, yes. I tell my patients, if you are over 65 and you can still eat a good meal with a good appetite, sleep soundly through the night, and walk on your own 2 feet without pain, you are truly wealthier than a billionaire.
Eat well, sleep well, walk well.
Exactly. And everything we discussed today, avoiding the bad foods, choosing the good ones, fixing our habits, is all to protect those 3 treasures.
That is beautiful. It puts the power back in our hands. We aren't just aging, we are curating our health.
Precisely. Don't let a moment of mouth hunger for a salty bowl of pho rob you of years of walking with your grandchildren.
Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom today. I think many of our listeners will be changing their breakfast menus starting tomorrow morning.
I hope so, Sarah. It's never too late to start. Even one small change, like swapping white bread for a sweet potato, makes a difference.
To our listeners, if you found this helpful, please share this with your friends and family. Let's help everyone over 65 live a healthier, happier life. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Dr. Thomas.
Wishing you a wonderful, healthy morning. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and stay healthy.